doesn't seem like this narcissistic Paris Hilton dude.
Which is completely not like him.
Not like him at all. I had no idea what I wanted to do for a living, but I knew it wasn't acting. But then my brother thought I would love it. I started doing it, and I did love it. And so it's never, I don't know, it's never really been, the only thing that I learned growing up on sets was how the craft service was. I never really hung around for the acting part of it.
At some point, and this is when my 2-year-old son just enters frame like a horror, and it's 11:30 at night. This kid should be out cold, and he says something indecipherable. 2-year-olds, and I say, I'm sending a video to Bill. Tell Bill to do the interview. He looks right at the camera and he goes, "Do the interview, Bill." And I said, "Say no to a kid like that, and I don't know what kind of monster you are."
If you thought this legal saga couldn't get more ridiculous, Yanni, buckle up, because the circus opened another tent today. And guess who marched right in? Blake Lively's attorneys. Yes, uninvited, unrelated, unnecessary. Exactly like the sequel nobody asked for. To set the vibe, imagine a courtroom where people at least try to look like they belong. Then imagine Blake's legal team, led by our beloved Kristen Motion to Compel as my personality, Bender, walking into a hearing that had literally nothing to do with them. Not even a tiny side connection. Not even background extra energy. Zero relevance. Last week, these same attorneys filed a supplemental response to a motion that also had nothing to do with them. Wayfarer literally had to tap the judge on the shoulder like, Your Honor, this isn't even Blake's case. It was comedy. Actual comedy. And clearly, nobody learned anything because here we were again. Blake's team showing up like it was their episode, their arc, their storyline, in a lawsuit where they're basically the barista in the background. Now, the only loose thread that ties Blake to this mess is that her company, Vans Incorporated, is roped in as a side entity in a different case because Stephanie Jones is being sued for allegedly dumping the contents of someone's phone to Blake and accessing a computer illegally. Allegedly, relax. But this particular hearing still had nothing to do with Blake. So when Kristen marched in, files in hand, ready to clog the judge's entire afternoon, the judge basically went, "Ma'am, no." Politely, firmly, like you speak to a toddler reaching for a knife. You're not a party. You don't get to speak. I swear I felt the secondhand embarrassment through the phone lines. But let's rewind, Yanni, because this story isn't just a train wreck. It's a 900-car derailment. Right now, the legal landscape looks like this. Jones Works is suing everyone under the sun. Jen Abel, Melissa Nathan, Baldoni, and Wayfarer. Jen Abel is countersuing Stephanie Jones. Wayfarer is suing Stephanie for breach of contract. Stephanie is no longer trying to get Jen's counterclaim thrown out. Melissa Nathan says she didn't do anything. Katie Cassie says Melissa told her to do everything. And Blake's lawyers keep teleporting into unrelated hearings like they're in some multiverse crossover. A mess. A beautifully chaotic mess. Now, let's talk about today's hearing. It was all about one thing, the mysterious anti-Stephanie Jones website she claims was defamatory. A website that might not, or might absolutely have been created by people who know way too much tea about her. Through subpoenas, Facebook and Pinterest records trace account ownership to Katie Cassie's and Brianna Clough. Not Melissa Nathan. Not Tag. Not Blake Lively. Just Katie. Katie, who used to work at Jones Works, left, went to work with Tag, and a strong, Olympic-level dislike for Stephanie Jones. Evidence so far? Everything points to Katie as the architect of the website and the social handles. She admits she wrote the copy. She admits she published it. She admits she ran the accounts. Pinterest and Facebook connected the dots to her. A former employee's name was used maliciously in registration, LOL. And she claims she might have sent drafts to Melissa. Maybe, possibly, or maybe she didn't. Depends on the vibe. Katie says Melissa was a puppet master. Melissa says Katie is lying because she's afraid of becoming a defendant. Stephanie says the website ruined her life. Blake's attorneys say, actually, they can't say anything because the judge won't let them talk. Now the real comedy? Stephanie and her attorneys are suddenly shocked that Melissa denies involvement, even though she denied it in her filed answer, even though no evidence links her, even though every subpoena pointed to Katie. But Stephanie wants the court to believe that Katie, who openly hates her, would go out of her way to protect her mortal enemy by lying under oath just to not be sued by her? Girl, be serious. Then we get Kristen Taylor, Jones's attorney, running around in circles, arguing why her late subpoena is somehow justified. She says there are discrepancies. She says the timeline matters. She says she needs more documents that don't exist to prove something nobody else sees. Wayfarer's attorney, Kevin Fritz, king of calm savagery, finally steps in like, "Judge, respectfully, if you didn't let us extend deadlines for the Taylor Swift depot, how are you letting them break rules now?" Mic drop. The judge's face probably said, "Damn, he's right." And while all this is happening, Katie's lawyers have officially entered their save ourselves, screw the rest era. They clearly hate Melissa now. They don't support Jones either. They're just floating in space, hoping they don't get sued by either camp. At this point, courtroom energy equals WWE Royal Rumble, but with less coordination and more incompetence. And again, the giant elephant in the room, wearing sparkly sunglasses and sipping iced tea, Scooter Braun. Because none of this makes sense unless you realize this isn't about Melissa, or Katie, or websites. It's about Stephanie Jones' unresolved Scooter Braun heartbreak. Yes, Yanni, this is a revenge arc, a PR divorce, a delusion-tinged vendetta. This entire legal universe revolves around one man, Scooter Braun. Yes, the ghost in every filing, the invisible character in every motion, the ex-boss, ex-friend, ex-everything that Stephanie Jones just cannot get over. And trust me, the courts can feel it. The attorneys can feel it. Even the judge, who's 3 migraines away from quitting the profession entirely, can feel it in the atmosphere like humidity. But before we dive into the Scooter era, let's set the scene. Because Stephanie didn't just walk into this case with grudge. She walked in with a 5-season Netflix-worthy revenge arc flashback time. Stephanie Jones used to work on Scooter Braun's massive PR machine, a world of A-list clients, celebrity deals, crisis management, NDAs thicker than textbooks, and egos so large they needed their own offices. And during that time, Stephanie loved Scooter, idolized him, quoted him, worshipped him, treated him like her personal Marvel superhero. But then it happened, the split. Professional, personal, emotional, depends on who you ask. What we don't know is Stephanie left the company in flames. She felt betrayed. She believed Scooter owed her more, and she walked away carrying Olympic-level resentment, the kind of resentment that doesn't die, Yanni. It mutates. It grows legs. It becomes a lawsuit 2 years later. So now, every time someone breathes in her direction, Stephanie thinks Scooter sent them. Melissa said she wasn't involved. Scooter's influence. Katie made a website dragging Stephanie. Scooter's puppet. Wayfarer sued her for breach of contract. Scooter's doing. The sun didn't rise early enough. Scooter controlling NASA. This woman sees Scooter Braun the way children see the boogeyman. Everywhere. Even in the electrical socket. And the funniest part? Scooter has not appeared in a single court filing. Not one. Not even a footnote. Not even a CC on an email. He's living his life. Maybe on a yacht. Maybe by a new company. Absolutely unaware that Stephanie is in a courtroom fighting ghosts. But for Stephanie, every move anyone makes is connected to him. It's giving main character syndrome, but like the villain edition. Picture it. Stephanie leaves Scooter's empire. Stephanie feels wronged. Stephanie begins telling people stories. People begin not believing her. Tension builds. Old co-workers roll their eyes. New co-workers quietly tiptoe away. Friends turn neutral. Acquaintances get bored. And then something crucial happens. People start talking back. Not publicly. Not loudly. Just quietly circulating the reputation Stephanie created for herself. That is what led Jones' works to fall apart from the inside. That is what led ex-employees to distance themselves. That is what led to the infamous anti-Stephanie website. And that is what led to the lawsuits. Lawsuits that now include defamation, counterclaims, breach of contract, hacked devices, stolen phone contents, Blake Lively floating around like a confused extra, Wayfarer wanting nothing but peace, and Stephanie wanting revenge on Scooter Braun through everyone except Scooter Braun the poetic tragedy. If Scooter ever speaks on this, it'll be Stephanie who? Everything Stephanie claims is happening to her is actually happening because of her. But she rewrote the script in her head so aggressively that now, Melissa Nathan is her secret enemy. Katie Cassidy's is her traitor. Wayfarer is her oppressor. Jen Abel is her bully. Justin Baldoni is her co-conspirator. Blake Lively is her champion. Tag is the shadow villain. And Scooter Braun is the mastermind behind every breath of the universe, babe. This isn't a lawsuit. It's a telenovela with more plot holes than a student film. Which is why, in the courtroom, when Stephanie acts blindsided by Melissa's denial or Katie's admissions or Facebook's records, everyone else is sitting there like, girl, you created this chaos. Let's talk about the website. The website that Stephanie claims destroyed her career, her reputation, her mental peace, her oxygen supply, everything. Was it shady? Absolutely. Was it mean? Yes. Was it illegal? Well, that's what the judge is trying to figure out. But here's the tea. That website wasn't Scooter's revenge. It wasn't Melissa's secret mission. It wasn't Tag's whispered war. It was Katie Cassie's, a woman who left Jones' works with -12 respect for Stephanie. And when Stephanie learned Katie made it, she didn't go, yeah, that checks out. She went, Scooter sent her. Girl, Scooter does not even know the password to that Pinterest account. Now, this is where it gets hilarious. Stephanie, desperate to create her Scooter is sabotaging me narrative, somehow ropes in Blake Lively, a woman who had nothing to do with any of this until Stephanie dragged her in by the hair. And Blake? She walked right in. Like, yes, bestie, what are we suing today? The problem? Blake's lawyers inherited Stephanie's delusion. So Stephanie convinced herself that Blake is targeted, Blake is a victim, Blake is being stalked by Scooter's network, Blake is being harmed by Jones' works employees, Blake must defend Stephanie, Stephanie must defend Blake. Their destinies are spiritually linked, or whatever, and Blake's team marched into a hearing that had nothing to do with them like proud soldiers. And the judge said, no, like an exhausted Anne at a wedding shutdown. But in Stephanie's brain, this was proof of a grand conspiracy. You can tell the judge is over because she shut down Blake's lawyers instantly. She questioned the late subpoenas. She refused extensions. She denied unnecessary motions. She keeps reminding the courtroom that facts matter. Her decisions scream, I am not paid enough for this circus. She can feel the Scooter Braun ghost floating around the case and wants no part of it. If the judge could say what she's actually thinking, it would be, Your Honor, Stephanie is actually fighting imaginary villains, and I am trapped here with her. This is the heart of the story. Stephanie is not suing Melissa because Melissa wronged her. She's suing Melissa because Melissa reminds her the version of herself Scooter rejected. Stephanie is not fighting Wayfarer because they harmed her. She's fighting because losing Wayfarer feels like losing credibility she once had through Scooter. She's not battling Katie because Katie made a website. She's battling because Katie left her the way Scooter left her. She's not dragging Blake into this because Blake is harmed. She's dragging her because Blake gives her the attention Scooter never did. It's all projection. It's all unresolved emotional debris. It's all the collapse of a PR manager who built her entire self-worth on being needed by powerful people. And when Scooter stopped needing her, her world collapsed. These lawsuits are her way of rebuilding control. But she's building the tower with matchsticks and setting it on fire simultaneously. This isn't a defamation battle. It's not a business dispute. It's not an internet drama. It's not even about Wayfarer, Melissa, Katie, or the website. It's the story of a woman trying to force the world to feel the abandonment she cannot emotionally process. And Scooter Braun, the man she's fighting, the villain she wrote in her head, he's nowhere in sight. He's not even a background extra. He's off-screen living his life while Stephanie is in court fighting shadows. By this phase of production, Yanni, everyone was smiling way too hard. Fake smiles. Fake calm. Fake, we're all a happy family. Meanwhile, behind those smiles, the entire creative team was basically throwing psychological grenades at each other. This wasn't just another movie. This was a territory war disguised as collaboration. A silent, slow-burning explosion. The kind of drama Hollywood pretends never happens. But oh, it happened. And this chapter? This is where the real cracks started showing. People have this romantic image of filmmaking. Lights, coffee, creativity, cute Pinterest vibes. Yanni, no. This movie was a blood sport. A full, three-way power struggle between Blake, the director with a vision that absolutely needed to be seen, Colleen. The author guarded her story like a dragon sitting on a gold pile, Justin. Stuck in the middle like a human stress ball. And the deadlines? Those deadlines were not normal deadlines. They were basically ticking bombs wrapped in Google Calendar reminders. If I'm directing, then I need freedom. Otherwise, this is just a film audiobook. Please, for the love of God, I don't want to die on this hill. And everything was happening during Blake's pregnancy, Colleen's mental health struggles, Justin's packed schedule, studio breathing down, everyone's neck tell me that isn't the perfect setup for a meltdown. Every movie has that one scene that breaks the entire production. For this film, it wasn't a kiss scene, not a fight scene, not even a dramatic monologue. It was a phone argument scene, Lily confronting Ryle. Simple, right? Apparently not. Raw, messy, improvised emotion, accuracy, exact wording, page to screen loyalty. A nap, but that wasn't happening. Blake, being the bold director she is, told the actors, forget the words, feel the moment. Camera rolling, emotion flowing. Scene turned out powerful, messy, human. The whole crew was in shock. Then, Colleen walked in, slowly, very slowly. Expression. What fresh hell did I just witness? She didn't scream, didn't argue, didn't lecture. She simply said, "This is not in my book." And that, Yanni, was a crack that split the production. From that moment on, every creative decision felt like a personal attack. Whenever Hollywood says creative differences, please understand. Someone threw a chair, emotionally, if not physically. This film entered that era hard. And it wasn't loud fighting. It wasn't dramatic screaming. It was quiet, careful, strategic sabotage. Deeply faithful to the book. Honors the author's original message. Translation. Please don't blame me if Blake goes rogue. I made bold choices as a director. Stories evolve on screen. Translation. This is MY Movie 2, thank you. Literally. Protect Justin at all costs. No smoke. No drama. No quotes that could backfire. He was the studio's golden boy. They weren't letting him get dragged into the Blake-Colleen tension tornado. If you've never been inside an editing room, just imagine. Caffeine poisoning, crying, passive-aggressive notes, 300 tabs open, and the air smelling like stress, regret, and suffering now multiplied that by 10. Blake's cut. Emotional, artistic, bold. Colleen's notes. Strict, structured, trauma boundaries aware. And poor Justin, the peacemaker, was caught in the crossfire. Editors were receiving contradictory instructions like, tone down scene 31C. Increase intensity in scene 31C. Remove the intensity. Keep the intensity. The same scene. The same day. The editor eventually asked, who is the boss? And the tragic part? No one answered, because everyone thought they were the boss. One night, after weeks of built-up frustration, a Zoom meeting was called. Blake on one side, Colleen on the other, Justin in the middle, 3 assistants muted, clutching emotional support iced coffee. You hire me to direct, so let me direct. You promised accuracy. This isn't accuracy. We all want the same thing. No, they did not want the same thing. This call was basically a custody battle over the story. Blake argued, films evolve. Colleen argued, trauma doesn't get to be interpreted. Justin argued, please stop burning me alive. The call ended with polite fake good nights. But the minute disconnected, 2 new cut versions were planned. PR teams went into crisis mode. Agents started circling like vultures. The studio requested a liability review translation. War had officially begun. Publicly, they were saints. We worked like a family. We respected each other deeply. This story means everything to all of us. Privately, the inboxes were nuclear. We object to the scene. This violates our agreement. This change undermines the original vision. This must be corrected before release. This is unacceptable. And somewhere inside the fan community, people started sensing something was off. Because when inside a production is burning, the outside always starts to smell smoke. Look, Justin is calm, diplomatic, sweet, soft-spoken. He's a guy who says, hey, let's talk this out, smiling face with smiling eyes. But even he has limits. And one day, in a closed-door meeting, he finally said, I'm tired of mediating between 2 sides that refuse to compromise. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. Blake refused to bend. Colleen refused to bend. The studio kept interfering. Marketing had its own agenda. Justin was a glue. But you can't glue something together if the pieces keep ripping themselves apart. After this moment, something shifted. Justin went from director-friendly to studio-neutral. Not because he wanted power, but because he didn't want a film collapsing entirely. This wasn't a fight about lighting, set design, actors, blocking, dialogue. This was a fight about power. Who owns a story? Who controls it? Who gets the final word? Who protects it? Who changes it? Who benefits from it? The power chart looked like this. Colleen, emotional ownership plus massive fandom. Blake, creative ownership plus Hollywood leverage. Justin, narrative control plus studio loyalty. All 3 were right. All 3 were wrong. All 3 were necessary. All 3 were destructive. Hollywood's biggest secret? Everyone thinks they're saving the story. No one realizes they're destroying each other. When the final version of the movie was locked, there was no celebration, no champagne, no "we did it" moment. It was simply relief, exhaustion, burnout, quiet resignation, because behind every frame of this film, if you look closely, you can feel the tension, the conflict, the compromises, the wounds. It's more than a movie. It's a battlefield, a reminder, a monument to the chaos no one will ever publicly admit. A story told on screen and a war fought off screen. That's the real tea. The production wasn't tense anymore. It was radioactive. Soft smiles? Gone. Diplomacy? Gone. Professional courtesy? Barely breathing. Everyone was pretending things were fine, while privately drafting emails that could burn the studio to the ground. Hollywood loves pretending everything is perfect, but behind closed doors, this movie was a crime scene. Suddenly, everyone started behaving extra calm, like overly calm, suspiciously calm, the kind of calm a person has right after they hide a body. Blake began posting sweet, supportive BTS pictures. Colleen began posting poetic captions about storytelling unity. Justin smiled in every interview like he was starring in a toothpaste commercial. But that silence, that calm, that was the silence of three people who weren't talking to each other at all. The group chats were dead. The emails were ice cold. Every message began with "per our last conversation," which is Hollywood language for "I hate you but legally cannot say it." This wasn't peace. This was a ceasefire, a fragile one, the kind where even breathing too loudly could restart the war. Now that production was done, the next battlefield wasn't the script or the set or the editing room. It was the internet. And Yanni, nothing is more vicious than a fandom war, especially when the creators themselves accidentally fuel it. Wanted the narrative to be, "This is a faithful adaptation that honors trauma survivors." Wanted the narrative to be, "This is MY bold, empowering directorial debut with MY vision." Wanted the narrative to be, "Justin Baldoni is a saint. Please love him." And the PR teams? They were out there fencing like Olympic athletes. Every article leak, every interview quote, every time caption, all of it was a chess move, a war of subtle shading and quiet flexing. If you want to know where the tension boiled over publicly, it was during the trailer release. Trailers are the final test. The moment when every side sees what actually survived. When the trailer hit the internet, fans were divided, critics were confused. Colleen Stan started dissecting every line. Blake Stan started praising her shots. Everyone asked, "Why does the tone feel different from the book?" You could practically hear Colleen's eyebrows raise from across the country. And Blake? She stayed very, very quiet, which in Hollywood is louder than screaming. The studio executives, who've been ignoring the chaos until now, finally intervened. Because chaos is cute, but financial risk? Absolutely not. They pulled Blake, Colleen, Justin, and both PR teams into one room, virtual or physical. Nobody knows, nobody cares. And they delivered one message. Fix the narrative, or we will. Translation: if you don't stop fighting, the studio will rewrite the PR story, and none of you will like how you come out looking. This forced everyone to talk again. Not nicely, not warmly, but strategically. Because no one wants the studio puppeteering their image. Hollywood is built on alliances, and this situation was no different. Behind the scenes, subtle alliances formed, because she had the fan base power, and the story rights, because she had celebrity influence, and the visual branding power, because he was a safe bet. Neutral, non-confrontational, the guy no one wanted to piss off. Yanni, the alliances weren't friendly. They were transactional. Everyone needed something. Everyone had something to lose. Everyone had something to protect. Even before the movie was released, there was already whispering about potential awards season positioning. And that Yanni, that turned the tension into full-blown paranoia. Awards equals power. Awards equals ownership. Awards equals I was right. So suddenly, Blake wanted credit for her directorial risks. Colleen wanted credit for her story's emotional depth. Justin wanted credit for her performance and direction. The studio wanted credit for bringing this important story to screen. It was like a custody battle over a trophy that didn't even exist yet. One insider described it as, everyone wanted to be the face, but no one wanted to be the villain. Justin is diplomatic, patient, graceful under pressure. But late in the game, during one extremely heated behind-the-scenes discussion, he reached his real limit. He didn't yell. He didn't snap. He didn't insult anyone. He just said one brutally honest line. This film isn't about any of us anymore. It's about outlasting the damage we've done to each other. And Yanni, that line hit the room like a drop grenade, because it was true. This project had stopped being a collaboration months ago. It had become a competition, a power struggle, a PR battlefield. And the only thing left to salvage was the movie's survival. When premiere night arrived, everyone came dressed, smiling, picture perfect. But the energy? Off. Weird. Stiff. Blake stood slightly apart. Colleen smiled too tightly. Justin played peacemaker again like his life depended on it. The photos looked beautiful. The interviews sounded friendly. The clips went viral. But anyone who knows Hollywood energy could see it. Everyone was done. Done fighting. Done pretending. Done bleeding for a project that had drained them dry. That red carpet wasn't a celebration. It was the final handshake after a war. We survived this moment. Not a, we love doing this moment. Beyond the drama. Beyond the sabotage. Beyond the war for creative control. This entire experience revealed one cold truth. Adaptations don't just translate stories. They expose power hierarchies. Who owns the trauma? Who shapes the narrative? Who controls the lens? Who edits the truth? This movie wasn't just a film. It was a battleground, a chess match, a negotiation, a PR risk, a career gamble, an emotional minefield, and everyone involved came out with scars. Visible or invisible, this project was a triumph, yes, but also a tragedy. A masterpiece born from tension, compromise, and survival. A reminder that behind every heartfelt adaptation, there's a war the audience never sees.